pronunciation in French. So, over the past few months, I've been raising policy issues which I believe are crucially important for the future of our country. This is my job as a member of parliament. Moreover, it is my duty as a conservative member of parliament to contribute to debates and offer policy solutions from a conservative perspective. Otherwise, what is the point of being involved in politics? I am in politics to defend ideas, real conservative ideas, because I passionately care about the future of our country. Because I know that the free market conservative philosophy has the best solutions to ensure our society is more prosperous, secure, and peaceful. However, my party stand on several issues have convinced me that under the current leadership, it has all but abandoned its core conservative principles. I still cannot understand how a party that is supposed to defend free markets supports a small cartel that artificially increases the price of milk, chicken, and eggs for millions of Canadian consumers. More importantly, supply management has become one of the main stumbling blocks to an agreement with the United States on NAFTA. Former conservative leaders Brian Mulroney and Rona Ambrose agree that it should be put on the table. But the Conservative Party has been siding with the Liberal government. It also supports the retaliatory tariff of the Liberal government, even though this is going to hurt our businesses and consumers. Even though Canada has no realistic chance of winning a trade war with our neighbor 10 times bigger. Even though we could relaunch the negotiation if we put supply management on the table, and if we accept President Trump's offer to negotiate a dismantling of all barriers as the European Union has done. The Liberals are playing politics with this crucially important trade file. They are endangering the 20% of our economy that depends on trade with the US and Canada's future prosperity. But instead of leading as a principled conservative and defending the interests of Canada and Canadians, Andrew Scheer is following the Trudeau Liberals. I was told that internal polls are showing that the Liberals' response to Trump is very popular, and that in 6 months, if the polls change, the party's stand may change too. The same thing happened in reaction to my tweets on diversity and multiculturalism. This is another crucial debate for the future of our country. Do we want to emphasize our ethnic and religious differences and exploit them to buy votes, as the Liberals are doing, or emphasize what unites us and the values that can guarantee social cohesion? Just like in other Western societies grappling with this issue, a large number of Canadians, and certainly a vast majority of conservatives, are worried that we are heading in the wrong direction. But it is not politically correct to raise such questions. Instead of leading the debate and pushing back against all the unfair accusation, Andrew Scheer chose to avoid the controversy. He and several of my colleagues disavowed me. They are so afraid of criticism by the left and, yes, by the media, that they prefer to let down millions of supporters across the country that would like us to tackle this issue. When the Liberal government recently renewed the unfair and ineffective equalization formula for another 5 years, I was the only one to criticize it, not a word from my conservative colleagues. A conservative party that supports free markets should also advocate the end of corporate subsidies. It is not only the principal thing to do, it could also be popular if we defend it in a consistent way. Canadians are tired of paying taxes to bail out Bombardier, Ford, and other businesses. Instead of taking up this idea, Andrew Scheer announced that he will name a regional minister for all the regional development agencies in the country, as opposed to having only one minister overseeing them, as is the case now. He wants a minister from Quebec to distribute subsidies to Quebec, a minister from Atlantic Canada to distribute subsidies to Atlantic Canada, and so on. The conservative solution should be to abolish these wasteful agencies. What my party proposed is to make them more efficient at buying votes with taxpayers' money. How can we expect a conservative government to adopt any conservative reform when it comes to power if it cannot even articulate a clear stand and defend them before it is elected? I'm now convinced that we will get I'm now convinced that what we will get if Andrew Scheer becomes a prime minister is just a more moderate version of the disastrous Trudeau government. I have come to realize over the past year that this party is too intellectually and morally corrupt to be reformed. I know for a fact that many in the caucus privately oppose supply management, but buying votes in a few key ridings is more important than defending the interests of all Canadians. The whole strategy of the party is to play identity politics, pander to various interest groups, and buy votes with promises, just like the Liberals. The Conservative Party tries to avoid important, yes, controversial issues of concern to conservative and Canadians in general. It is afraid to articulate any coherent philosophy to support its position. Every public declaration is tested with polls and focus groups. The result is a bunch of platitudes that don't offend anybody, but also don't mean anything and don't motivate anyone. Andrew Scheer keeps talking about his positive conservative vision, but nobody knows what that vision is. The Conservative Party has abandoned conservative. It does not represent them anymore. And it has nothing of substance to offer Canadians looking for a political alternative. If we want conservative principles to win the battle of ideas, we have to defend them openly, with passion, and with conviction. That is what I want to do. And this is why, as of today, I'm no longer a member of the Conservative Party of Canada. I want to do politics differently. I will find another way to give a voice to millions of Canadians. And I will continue to fight for freedom, responsibility, fairness, and respect. Merci. So, Laissez-moi parler dans ma langue maternelle, s'il vous
Let me
plaît.
speak in my mother tongue if you don't
Au
mind.
cours des derniers mois, j'ai soulevé
In
des
recent
enjeux
months, I have
politiques qui,
raised
à mon avis,
policy
sont d'une
issues that, in
importance
my
cruciale pour
opinion, are
l'avenir de
critical
notre pays.
importance to the future of
C'est
this
mon
country.
travail de le faire en tant que
That is my
député.
job as a member of
De
parliament.
plus, en tant que député
Moreover,
conservateur, il est de
as a
mon
conservative member
devoir
of
de
parliament, it is
contribuer au
my duty
débat
to
et de
contribute
proposer
to
des
debate
solutions
and to offer
dans une
solutions
perspective
in
conservatrice.
a conservative
Sinon,
perspective.
quel est l'intérêt
Otherwise,
d'être impliqué
what is
en
the
politique?
point of being involved in politics?
Je suis en politique pour
I am in
défendre des idées,
politics to defend
des vraies
real
idées
ideas,
conservatrices,
real conservative
parce que je
ideas,
me soucie
because
passionnément
I
de l'avenir de
feel
notre pays.
passionately about
Parce
our
que je
country.
sais qu'une philosophie
And I know
conservatrice
that
qui s'appuie
a
sur la liberté
free
et le
market
libre marché
conservative
offre les
philosophy
meilleures solutions
offers the
pour que
best
notre
solution
société soit plus
to
prospère,
ensure a more
plus sécure
prosperous, more
et plus
secure,
pacifique.
and more peaceful
Toutefois, la
society.
position de mon
However,
parti sur
my
plusieurs
party's
questions
stance
m'a
on these
convaincu
issues
que sous
has
le
convinced
leadership
me
actuel,
that under the
il a
current
pratiquement
leadership,
abandonné ses
there
principes
has been a total
conservateurs
abandonment
fondamentaux.
of those core
Je n'arrive toujours
conservative
pas
principles.
à comprendre
I still cannot
comment un
understand
parti censé
how
défendre
a
le libre
party
marché
that's supposed to
appuie un
defend the
petit
free
cartel qui
market
fait augmenter
can
artificiellement le prix
support
du
a
lait,
system
du
that
poulet
would
et des œufs
increase
pour
the
des
price
millions
of
de
milk and
consommateurs
eggs
canadiens.
for millions of
Mais
Canadians
surtout,
consumers.
la gestion de
consumers.
l'offre est devenue
But supply
l'un des
management
principaux obstacles
has
à un
become
accord
one of
avec
the
les
main
États-Unis
stumbling
sur
blocks
l'ALENA.
to an agreement
Les
on
ex-chefs
NAFTA.
conservateurs Brian Mulroney
Former
et Rona
conservative
Ambro sont
leaders,
d'accord pour
such
mettre
as
cette
Mr.
question sur la
Mulroney,
table de
agree that
négociation.
this should be put on the bargaining
Malgré
table.
cela,
In spite
le
of
Parti
that,
conservateur
the
s'est rangé
Conservative
derrière le
Party
gouvernement
is now
libéral.
siding with the Liberal
Il appuie
government.
également les
It also
mesures
supports
tarifaires de représailles du gouvernement libéral.
tariffs introduced by the
Même
Liberals.
si on
Even
sait que
though
cela va
we
nuire
know
à
that
nos
they will
entreprises
hurt
et aux consommateurs
businesses
canadiens.
and Canadian
Même
consumers.
si le Canada
though
n'a aucune
Canada
chance réelle
has no
de
real
remporter une
chance
guerre
of
commerciale avec
a
notre
trade
voisin du Sud
war with
10 fois plus gros que nous.
a
Même si
neighbor
nous
that's 10
pourrions
times
relancer
bigger.
les négociations
We could
avec succès,
relaunch
si nous
those
mettons la gestion
negotiations
de l'offre
if
sur la
we
table
put supply
et si nous
management on the
acceptons
table and if we
l'offre du
agree
président Trump de négocier
with
un
Trump's
démantèlement
offer
de toutes
to
les barrières
negotiate
commerciales,
to the
comme l'a
dismantlement
fait
of
l'Union
all trade
européenne.
barriers, such as the European
Les
Union
libéraux
has done.
font de la petite
The
politique
Liberals
avec ce
are
dossier
playing
d'une importance
politics
cruciale
with
pour le
this
Canada.
crucial trade
Ils
file.
mettent en danger les
They
20
are
de notre
endangering
économie qui
the
dépendent des
20% of
échanges
our
commerciaux
economy
avec
that
les
depends
États-Unis,
on trade with the
ainsi
United
que la
States,
prospérité future
as well
de
as
notre
the
pays.
future prosperity of our country.
Plutôt que de comporter comme des
Rather than
conservateurs de
leading the
principes
debate
et
and,
défendre les intérêts du Canada
defending
et des
Canada's
Canadiens,
interests and the
Andrew
interests of
Scheer a adopté
Canadians,
la même
Andrew
position
Scheer
que les
is
libéraux de
simply
Trudeau.
following the Liberals'
On m'a
lead.
expliqué que certains sondages
I've been
internes
told that certain internal polls
montrent que la
show
position
that
de Justin Trudeau, elle est
Justin
populaire.
Trudeau's position is
Et
a popular one.
ce qui est intéressant de dire,
But what
c'est
should be
que
said
si jamais
is
cette
that
position
if
des Canadiens vient qu'à changer,
that
bien le parti
stand
changera aussi
changes,
de position.
well, then the party
La même
will
chose
also
s'est
change
produite
its
en
position.
réaction à mes tweets sur la
This
diversité
we
et
saw
le
in reaction to my
multiculturalisme.
tweets on diversity
C'est
and
c'est un autre
multiculturalism.
débat
That
crucial
is
pour
another
l'avenir du
crucial
pays.
debate for the future of
Voulons-nous
this country.
souligner nos
Do we
différences
want
ethniques
to
et religieuses
emphasize
et
our
les exploiter
ethnic
pour
and
acheter des votes
religious
comme le font les libéraux
differences
ou
and exploit
insister
them
sur ce
to
qui
buy
nous unit
votes? Or
et
do
sur
we
les
want to
valeurs
focus on
qui
social
garantissent la
cohesion
cohésion
and
sociale?
values that are
Tout
underlie
comme
that
dans d'autres
cohesion?
sociétés occidentales aux
As
prises
in
avec ce
other
problème,
Western
un grand nombre de
communities
Canadiens
grappling with this
et
issue, a
certainement
large
la
number
grande
of
majorité
Canadians and
des
certainly a
conservateurs
vast majority of
craignent que nous nous allions
conservatives
dans la
are
mauvaise
worried
direction.
that we are heading in the
Il
wrong
n'est pas
direction.
politiquement
It
correct
is not
de
politically
soulever de telles
correct
questions.
to raise such issues.
Au lieu de mener le
Rather
débat
than leading the
et de
debate
repousser les
and
accusations
pushing
injustes,
back on
Andrew
unfair
Scheer a choisi
accusations,
d'éviter
Andrew
la
Scheer
controverse.
has decided
Lui
to
et
avoid
plusieurs de mes collègues m'ont
controversy.
désavoué.
He
Ils
and
ont
his
tellement
colleagues
peur
have
des critiques
disavowed
de la
me
gauche
because
et des
they're so
médias
afraid of the
qu'ils
media
préfèrent
and the
laisser
left
tomber des
that they
millions de
prefer
partisans
to
conservateurs à
abandon
travers le
conservative
pays
supporters across
qui
the
voudraient
country
que nous
who would
nous
like
attaquions
to see
à ce
the
problème.
party tackle these issues.
Lorsque le gouvernement libéral a
When the
récemment
Liberal
renouvelé la
government,
formule de péréquation injuste
reformed
et
the
inefficace
unfair
pour
and
les 5
ineffective
prochaines années,
equalization
j'ai été le
formula.
seul à
I
critiquer
was
cette
the only
décision.
one to
Pas un mot
criticize that
de mes
decision.
collègues
Not a
conservateurs.
word from my
Un
conservative
parti
colleagues.
conservateur qui
A
soutient le libre
conservative
marché
party that
devrait
supports a free
également
market
préconiser
should
la fin
be
des
advocating
subventions aux entreprises.
the end
Ce n'est pas
corporate
seulement une
subsidies.
question de principe.
It's not only
Cela
a
pourrait être
question of
aussi
principle,
populaire si nous
but it's
défendons cette
also
position de
something
manière
that would be
cohérente.
popular.
Les Canadiens en ont assez
And
de
I
payer
believe
des
that
impôts
Canadians
pour
are
renflouer
tired of paying
Bombardier,
taxes
Ford et
for
d'autres
the
entreprises.
likes of Ford and
Au
Bombardier
lieu de
and
reprendre
others.
cette idée,
Rather
Andrew
than
Scheer
looking
a
at that
annoncé qu'il
idea,
nommerait un
Andrew
ministre
Scheer
régional pour toutes
has
les
said he would
agences de
like to
développement
name regional
économique
ministers
au
for
pays,
all those
par
regional
opposition à un
agencies
seul
in the country.
ministre pour les superviser, comme c'est le cas
Instead of
maintenant.
having a single
Il veut
minister
un
to
ministre
oversee
du
them,
Québec
he wants a
pour
minister
distribuer des
in Quebec
subventions au
to
Québec.
distribute
Il
those
veut un
subsidies in
ministre
Quebec.
de
He
l'Atlantique
wants a minister in
pour
the Atlantic
distribuer des
region
subventions
to
dans les
distribute
provinces
subsidies
atlantiques.
in the Atlantic
ainsi de suite.
provinces, and so on and so forth.
La solution conservatrice
The
devrait
conservative
être
solution
d'abolir
should
ces
be
agences
to
qui
abolish
gaspillent notre
such
argent.
agencies.
Ce que mon parti propose,
But
c'est de
what
les
my
rendre
party is
encore plus
proposing
efficaces
is to make
pour
them,
acheter des votes
more
avec l'argent des
ineffective
contribuables.
so that they can buy votes with
Comme nous
taxpayer
pouvons
money.
nous attendre,
As we can expect,
comme nous pouvons nous attendre à ce que ce parti adopte des réformes conservatrices au
as we
pouvoir,
can expect,
je pense qu'on rêve.
I think
S'il ne peut
it is
même pas
unlikely that
formuler
the
une
party
position
will
claire et la défendre
reform
avant qu'il ne
such
soit élu,
decisions if it takes
comment ce
power.
parti pourra proposer des
If
réformes
it is unable
conservatrices?
to articulate a clear
Je
stand
suis
on these
maintenant
issues,
convaincu
how
que
can
ce qui
it convince
nous
the public?
obtiendrons si Andrew
I'm
Scheer devient
convinced that
Premier
what we will
ministre
get
ne
with
sera
Andrew
qu'une
Scheer if he
version
is prime
plus
minister
modérée du
is a
désastreux
more
gouvernement
moderate
libéral.
version of the
Au
catastrophic
cours de la dernière
Trudeau
année,
government.
je suis graduellement venu à la conclusion
I have come
que
to
ce
the
parti
conclusion
est trop
that this
corrompu
party
intellectuellement
is
et
too
moralement pour
intellectually
être
and morally
réformé.
corrupt to
Je
actually
sais
bring in
pertinemment
reforms.
que beaucoup de
I
membres du
know that
caucus
many
s'opposent
members
en
of
privé
caucus
à la gestion de
privately
l'offre,
oppose
mais acheter
supply
des votes
management.
dans quelques
But buying
circonscriptions clés
votes
est plus
in certain
important pour eux
key
que de
ridings is
défendre
more
les intérêts
important
de tous les
than
Canadiens.
defending the interests of all
Toute
Canadians.
la stratégie du parti
The
repose sur
entire
la
party
politique
strategy
identitaire, le
relies
racolage de
on plain
divers groupes
identity
d'intérêts
politics
et l'achat de
and
votes
pandering to
avec des
interest
promesses,
groups,
exactement
buying
comme le
votes
font les
in
libéraux.
that way, just as the
Le
liberals are
Parti
doing.
conservateur
The
tente d'éviter
Conservative
les
Party
questions
has
importantes,
decided
mais
to
controversées,
avoid
qui
important
préoccupent
and
les conservateurs et
controversial
aussi
issues
les Canadiens en général.
that
Il
are of interest
refuse
to all
d'articuler une
Canadians. It
philosophie
is
cohérente
afraid to
pour
articulate
soutenir ses
a
prises de
consistent
position.
policy to support its
Chaque déclaration
stance.
publique est testée avec des
Every political
sondages et des
statement
groupes
is
de discussion.
tested with
Le
polls and
résultat
focus
est
groups,
une
and the
série de
result
platitudes
is a
qui
series
n'offensent
of
personne,
platitudes
mais qui ne veulent
that
aussi rien
don't
dire et
really
qui ne
mean
motivent
anything
personne.
and that don't motivate
Andrew Scheer
anyone.
n'arrête pas de
Andrew
parler
Scheer
de sa
is always
vision
talking about his
conservatrice
positive
positive,
conservative vision,
mais personne ne sait
but
en
no one
quoi
actually knows
consiste cette
what
vision.
that vision is.
Le Parti
The
conservateur
Conservative
a
Party
abandonné les
has
conservateurs.
abandoned
Il ne représente
conservatives.
plus.
It
Il
no
ne le
longer
représente plus.
represents
Et il n'y a rien de
those
substance
conservatives
à offrir
and
aux
has
Canadiens
nothing
à la recherche d'une
substantial to offer
solution de
Canadians
rechange politique.
seeking a political
Si nous
alternative.
voulons que
If
les
we want
principes
to
conservateurs
win
gagnent la
the
bataille
battle of
des idées,
ideas,
nous devons les défendre
then we have to
ouvertement,
defend those
avec
ideas
passion
openly
et
and
conviction.
with passion and conviction.
C'est ce que je veux faire.
That is
Et
what
c'est
I want to
pourquoi,
do, and
à
that is
compter
why,
d'aujourd'hui,
starting
je ne
today,
suis plus membre du
I
Parti
am no longer a
conservateur du
member
Canada.
of the Conservative Party
Je
of
veux
Canada.
faire de la
I
politique
want to do
autrement.
politics
Je
differently.
trouverai une autre façon
I will
de
find
donner la
another
parole
way
à des millions de
of,
Canadiens.
giving a
Et je
voice to
continuerai
millions of
à
Canadians,
lutter
and I
pour
will
la
continue to
liberté,
fight
la
for freedom,
responsabilité,
responsibility,
l'équité et le respect.
equity, and
Merci.
respect. Thank you very
Hey,
much.
what is the
will you
plan
do
now?
next?
What are you
What
going
are
to
you
start
going
a
to do
party?
next?
Or are you going to be starting a think tank? Lots of rumors floating around. What's your plan to give those millions of Canadians a voice, as you put it?
Yeah, the plan is to be able, in the next future, to have a new party that will promote conservative values, that will fight for Canadians who want real change in this country. So, answering your question, I will have some discussion with people all across the country the next couple of weeks, and the goal is to have a new party that will represent them.
You had a lot
Do
of support
you
from
think
within
you
the
will have
party.
a better
you had a lot
chance-
of
do
you had
you
a lot of support from within the party. You came in number 2. It was a razor-thin margin. Has anybody from within the party given you a sense that they will be following you, that they too will be leaving the Conservative Party? What conversations have you had with other people from your former caucus?
First of all, I didn't have any conversation with my former caucus member the last couple of weeks. The last conversation that I had was with the leader, Andrew Scheer. That was 9 days ago, Tuesday, 9 days ago, when before Andrew issued his statement. So we had a very polite discussion. And after that discussion, I realized that I don't have any place in that party anymore. And, after a year, I tried to fight for the conservative who want to have bold reform in Canada, reform in line with what they believe. And I was not successful. As you know, I'm the only one in the House who fighting for Canadian consumers on supply management. I'm the only one in the House who is against a trade war with US. And so I tried to influence that party, but after a couple of discussion, I decided that I will be best serve Canadians if we create a new party.
Vous êtes en train de diviser le vote conservateur au Canada et ainsi aider les libéraux à gagner la prochaine élection. Si on regarde le passé, c'est ce qui s'est passé.
Bien, moi, je crois qu'il faut regarder l'avenir. Je crois que les vrais conservateurs qui veulent des réformes conservatrices vont se joindre à ce nouveau parti-là. Du moins, je le souhaite. Écoutez, je suis en politique pour défendre des idées. C'est ce que je fais depuis les 12 dernières années. Et j'ai bien apprécié la course au leadership qui m'a permis de défendre ces idées-là et m'a permis aussi de m'apercevoir que plusieurs Canadiens partagent ces idées-là. Comme vous avez vu, j'ai été capable de payer la dette de ma course au leadership dans un temps record. Grâce, non pas parce que je m'appelle Maxime Bernier, mais parce que je fais la promotion d'idées que les gens veulent voir débattre et veulent entendre. Et je vais le faire dans un autre forum et j'espère bien que la majorité des conservateurs vont se joindre à notre nouveau parti s'ils veulent battre le gouvernement de Justin Trudeau.
Face à la chefferie-là, il y a des gens qui vous accusent d'être un mauvais perdant. Pourquoi est-ce que vous n'acceptez pas le verdict des conservateurs qui ont élu Andrew Scheer?
Non, c'est une question d'idée, c'est une question de principe. Ce parti-là n'accepte pas les principes sur lesquels je me suis battu ces dernières années. Comme je l'ai dit, et ce parti-là fait de la politique contrairement à ce que je veux faire. On se base sur des sondages, sur des groupes d'opinion pour élaborer des politiques. Lorsque nous avons des idées et nous devons les partager avec passion et conviction, mais c'est une question, c'est pas une question de savoir de plaire aux gens ou de déplaire aux gens. Les idées de liberté et de responsabilité individuelle, même si elles ne sont pas populaires aujourd'hui, elles vont le devenir parce que c'est des idées qui sont à la base de la société occidentale. Donc, faire de la politique en ayant toujours vu les sondages et les groupes de pression et disant des choses aux Canadiens dans un langage codé pour s'assurer d'avoir le plus d'appui, ce n'est pas mon style.
What makes you think that you have a chance, a better chance of beating Justin Trudeau than Andrew Scheer?
That would be the ideas. People want to change, and I think they're ready for that. They want to have a discussion about, yes, supply management. They want to have a discussion about the equalization formula. They want to have a discussion about maybe more private delivery of services in the healthcare. So they want to have a lot of debates. And I'm not afraid to do that. I think it would be good to have this debate. And I'm looking forward to having this debate. And I know that it will be good for this country. More freedom, less government. It's always good.
But you couldn't beat him at the leadership, so what makes you think you can do better than him in an election?
But for me, it's not a question of leadership. It's a question of it's the question of ideas. That's what I'm doing right now. And that's why I'm in politics. What is the goal to be in politics if you don't believe in anything?
You've been raising a lot of money beyond paying off your debt. Can you take any of that with you?
No. If you know the Election Canada legislation, and so all the money that we raised was going to pay the debt, and we did that. So I can tell you now that my financial agent will do a report to Election Canada, and we'll have a surplus in our campaign about maybe between $4,000 and $5,000. That surplus will go to the Beauce Conservative Riding Association.
Have you been raising money on the
not to
side
me.
for this new party?
No. Today, if somebody wants to give money for fighting for these ideas, they can go on my website, maximebernier.com, and that will go to a new account, and it's very different. So I'm not a conservative anymore, and people who want to give money right now, they won't have any tax credit. So that's important to say.
Hey, Mr. Bernier, when you say that our immigration policy forcibly changes the cultural character and social fabric of Canada, what do you mean? Can you give me an example of how that's happening?
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that the Trudeau government, they're focusing on diversity. And I'm not against that. But the goal must be unity in diversity. people who came here, they came here to share the Canadian values, the rule of law, equality between men and women, respect, tolerance. And so that's why I receive a lot of support from people from other ethnic group. And they were saying, you're right, we are Canadian. And also we can be from India, we can be from other country, but we're proud to be Canadian. And I think we must focus a little bit more on that. So that's very important for me.
Mr. Trudeau's adopted that you consider extreme multiculturalism, that you would reverse.
We'll have time to have that discussion, and I will.
You talk about his extreme multiculturalism. What policy was it that made it extreme multiculturalism?
You know, I really appreciate your question, and we'll have time to discuss that. Today, I want to discuss of my decision to leave the Conservative Party of Canada. But yes, I will have other exchange with journalists, and I will have other
derrière vous.
Everything that I'm doing today is based on the last years, and I realized that this party intellectually they just want to try to please everybody. But when you please everybody, you unplease everybody. So I prefer to do politics differently and to speak about what I believe. Yeah.
Les électeurs de Beauce sont derrière vous. Est-ce que les gens dans votre circonscription
Je
vous
souhaite,
people in your
je souhaite
riding
que les
behind
électeurs de
you,
Beauce
well, I
soient
hope
derrière
that they
leurs
are
députés.
behind their
Je
member
vais
of
devoir
parliament.
faire une
I will
campagne
have
électorale.
to,
Je tiens à vous dire que oui,
engage
je vais
in
me
an
présenter,
electoral
je vais
campaign,
me
and
présenter
I
en
will
Beauce à l'élection qui
be
s'en
in
vient
Beauce
et
in the upcoming
on va voir
election,
qu'est-ce qui va arriver.
and we'll see exactly what
Keeping your
happens.
seat in the House, you're sitting as an independent. What are you doing?
Yes, I'm keeping my seat in the House. I will run for the next election. Like I just told you, the goal is to create a new party, and I hope that in a couple of weeks from now, it will be up and running. And yes, I will continue.
Démarche pour fonder ce nouveau parti. Conservative MP under the
Yeah.
Conservative Party banner.
Yeah.
Your party has long called for others to do the same. Why haven't you stepped down?
Because
and run
yeah, it's a good question. Because I didn't change. It's the party who changed. I didn't change. I'm the same guy. I believe in the same ideas, and people in Beauce, they know that. So there's no difference, I hope, for them.
Do you see yourself as the new Preston Manning, with the proviso that Preston Manning took years to develop the Reform Party as an alternative to the Progressive Conservative Party?
You know, we have a year to build a new party, and I'll put all my effort to be sure to be successful.
About this new party so far, what conversations have you had?
I'm starting that conversation right now.
Have you not talked to anybody though in the lead up to this?
I know, I'm starting that conversation right now.
Le Club Mad Max, le Club Mad Max a été lancé sur votre site web. C'est quoi le Club Mad Max?
Oh, ça fait longtemps que le club a
What's
été lancé.
the
Ils ont la
fan
course au
club?
leadership.
Well, it
C'est
was
des gens
launched
qui
when the
partagent
leadership race
les
was on.
idées,
These
les
are
idées de
people who
liberté et de
share my
responsabilité. C'est des
ideas
gens avec qui je suis en
about freedom
contact
and
régulièrement.
responsibility.
C'est
They're
des gens
people
qui
I'm in
m'ont
contact
aidé
with
à payer ma
regularly.
dette de la
They're
course au
people who
leadership.
helped me pay my leadership
Planning to
debt.
run a pan-Canadian party.
Oh, for
with
sure, for sure.
338 ridings.
Absolutely, that
And
would
you
be the
think it'll
goal.
be up and running by the next election?
I think so, and I will do everything to be ready for that.
Un peu décevant, vous dites que vous voulez parler d'idées.
You say
Les
that you
collègues
want
posent
to
des
talk
questions sur la
about
stratégie. Il y en a
ideas,
quelques-uns qui posent des questions sur les
but
idées.
there are
Vous ne voulez
some
pas y
people
répondre.
who are
Parlons
asking
idées.
questions
Qu'est-ce
about
qu'un
your
gouvernement
ideas.
canadien devrait
For
faire
example,
pour
what
faire
should the
face
Canadian
au
government
flux des
do
migrants sur la frontière?
to
Que sont
deal
vos
with more
propositions,
immigrants
Monsieur
coming
Lidé?
through
Je
the
l'ai déjà
border?
parlé de
What are
ça.
your
C'est pas la
proposals?
première fois.
I've talked about this before. It's
J'ai-
not the first
durant la
time.
course sur leadership,
During the
j'ai eu
leadership
une politique
race,
sur l'immigration.
I
Si vous allez sur
developed
mon
a
site
policy
web,
on this, and if you go
maximeberniercom,
on
vous allez
my
voir ma
website,
politique
you
qui
will
était très
see
claire.
the
Et
substance
j'ai
of that
dit qu'il faut
policy that's
privilégier
very
une
clear.
immigration
I
économique,
said we need
qu'il
to
faut s'assurer
emphasize
d'avoir un système
economic
d'immigration
immigration
équitable,
and make sure
qu'il
things
faut,
are done
et d'ailleurs,
fairly.
c'était le début lors de la
And
course
that
au leadership
was
de cette
at the
problématique-là,
beginning
des gens qui
of
traversent la
the
frontière.
leadership race
J'ai
that
dit à
people
l'époque
started
qu'il
crossing
fallait
the border.
réviser
And at the
l'entente de
time, I
pays
said
tiers.
we needed
Donc,
to
si vous allez sur mon site,
revise
c'est pas
the
nouveau.
safe third
Depuis un an et
country
demi, cette
agreement.
politique-là, elle est là.
For a year and a half now,
But
I've been
it's
talking
also
about that
Mr.
policy.
Was the Prime Minister Harper wrong in his ethnic outreach? Was it wrong for Jason Kenney to work and build a brand within ethnocultural communities? And did you protest that pandering when you were in government?
First of all, I won't comment what the former government did, but that's not my style. That's not my style to do politics like that. And what I'm telling you, for the right now, I'm not doing that, and I won't pander to every special interest group. For me, they're Canadians. They're Canadians first, and I want to speak to all Canadians. So what the party did in the past, that's not something that I share.
With it, you didn't.
Seen by some people as anti-immigrant. Your tweets have been portrayed by some people as anti-immigrant. And we know Kelly Leach, for example, she did not do well with some views that were seen that way. Like, are you anti-immigrant? And if so,
That's not the
how's that
case.
going to fly?
That's not the case. And, I will fight people who bring fake news. I will fight that. I'm very serious about that. And people know, they just have to read the tweet. Speaking about my tweet, we didn't have the question. So, yeah. So that question is very important. It is important. It is my tweet. It is my position. And I believe in that. But, we're doing that as a team. And as you may know, Martin Maas worked for me for the last 10 years, and now he's going to work full-time with my team. And Martin was the person that started to write the book with me, Doing Politics Differently. So my team and I, every time that I'm tweeting, if it's not me who's doing the tweet, I approve everything because it's political position. It's my tweet, it's my words, it's what I think.
So what have you done so far in terms of
On commence ces démarches. Je
Well, we're
commence
just
ces
starting
démarches.
now. We're starting now.
Je commence ces démarches
I'm
et
starting
puis
the whole
on
process,
va voir
and we
dans les
will
prochaines
see
semaines.
in
Mais
the
c'est
coming
très
weeks how
urgent
things
d'avoir le
work out.
parti
But it's
qui va
urgent
être prêt le plus
to
rapidement possible.
form the party
Dès
as
cet
quickly as
après-midi,
possible.
je vais
And
contacter
starting this
Élections Canada
afternoon, I will be
pour regarder les
contacting
différentes
Elections Canada
formalités pour
to look at
créer
the
un parti.
various things that must be done when forming a new political party.
And is that why you decided to leave? Because you weren't willing to do that anymore?
It was a private discussion, and I will keep that discussion private.
What prompted you, though, a party that you were willing to be the leader of just months ago, and now you're disgusted with it, and you call it morally corrupt? So what has happened over the past couple of months here that I seem to have missed?
Yeah, no. What happened? If you follow the news the last year, you saw that I was very present in the news and speaking about what I believe. But that's not the position of the party. And my leader told me and every Canadian that I don't have any influence in the party. So that being said,
This timing is not lost on anybody. The convention is,
I decided.
Why announce this today? It seems to be like you want to inflict maximum damage.
What I decided, when I decided to take that position and having the idea to create a party, was after my discussion with Andrew Scheer about 9 days ago. So so after that, we have to find a moment to do that press conference, and I decided to do that here at that time.
Pourquoi vous avez pris cette décision-là en français, s'il vous plaît? Qu'est-ce qui a mené à ça?
Mais qu'est-ce qui a
What
mené?
led
C'est
to
les
your
discussions
decision?
que j'ai eues,
Well,
et
it
puis
was
c'est
the
aussi les
discussions
positions
that
de
I
mon parti
had,
qui
and
sont
also the
complètement
position
différentes des
taken by
positions
my
que je
party,
prends
which is
depuis
completely
les dernières
different
années.
from the
Je l'ai dit
position
dans mon
I've taken in
discours, la
recent
gestion
years.
de
I
l'offre, c'est
said that in my
inacceptable qu'un
speech.
parti conservateur
Supply management.
prône
It's just not
une position
possible for
qui
the
est
Conservative Party
anti-libre
to
marché et
defend
contre les
a
consommateurs.
position that's anti-free
La formule
market.
de péréquation.
And what
La
about
formule
the
de péréquation, les
equalization
gens veulent en
formula?
discuter. C'est une
People
formule
want to talk
injuste et
about that. It's
inefficace. Donc
unfair
mon
and
parti ne veut pas en
inefficient. But
discuter.
my party
Je
doesn't
ne
want to talk about
m'obstinerai
it.
pas quand mon parti ne veut pas discuter
If my
de
party doesn't want to
ces
talk about these
questions-là, à rester
things,
dans un parti
what's the
qui
point of
ne
being in
pense
a
pas
party
les
if
mêmes choses que moi.
it doesn't have the same views as
Vous voulez
myself?
participer à tous les débats des chefs?
Mais là, je pense que vous allez un
Well,
peu loin.
I
La
think
première
that you're
question,
going
c'est de
rather far.
réussir à former ce
First of
parti-là,
all, we have to
avoir
succeed
des
in
candidats
forming this
partout
new
à travers
party
le
and
Canada.
find
Et on
candidates
va
across the
s'atteler à ça.
country,
On verra la
and
fin.
then we'll work on that.
What's the difference between the Conservative Party led under Andrew Scheer and the way Stephen Harper led it in terms of shaping the party policy, using polls?
Now, you can see the difference right now. You just look at the policies that are proposed during the leadership. You don't see that in the Conservative Party right now. And so that's the reason.
Ces positions-là auraient pu être. Vous auriez
Bon,
pu avoir
if
une
you've gone to
influence
the
au Congrès.
convention,
Parlons du
well,
Congrès. La proposition sur la
let's talk
gestion de
about the
l'offre a été mise la
convention.
dernière
The
pour ne pas qu'on en
proposal
discute.
on
On a
supply
peur, comme je l'ai dit dans
management
mon
was put
discours,
at
de
the
faire des
bottom of the
débats qui
list.
dérangent. On veut
Obviously,
avant
I'm
faire des
accused
focus
of
group et
wanting to debate
s'assurer
issues
de
that
faire des
bother
sondages et
people.
d'arriver
But the
avec
party
du
relies
vocabulaire
on
qui
polls
va
and then
être
develops a
approuvé par une
language
grande majorité de
that they
Canadiens.
think will be
Moi, je veux faire des débats d'idées
approved by
et
most
c'est ce que j'ai l'intention
Canadians.
de faire.
I want a debate of
The House of
ideas,
Commons
and
is
that's what I
against a
intend to do.
trade war with the United States, which strikes me as a strange thing to say. So what would you do to deal with President Trump right now?
Yes, you're right. I'm the only one in the House who's against a trade war, and the only one in the House who's for Canadian consumers. And Yeah,
with it. I'm not asking your position.
Yeah, you're
What would
right.
you do to manage it?
but you put supply management on the table. You know, the President Trump is saying a lot of things, and but on supply management for the last 6 months, that's the same thing that he's saying on Twitter. And you just have to listen, put that on the table and abolish it for the good of this country, for Canadian consumers. That's the best thing to do. Why? Because maybe that will hurt the party in the Liberal Party and my old party in some key ridings. You know, it is not responsible to have a policy like that. And what I'm saying to the Trudeau government right now, put that on the table, abolish it, do like the other countries like New Zealand and Australia that they did it for the good of this country. You know, they're putting at risk 20% of our economy for 19,000 producers on their supply management. I cannot believe that. I cannot believe that.
Do you feel emboldened by Donald Trump?
What do you mean?
Do you feel that you're starting this new party? He's against supply management. You're against supply management.
Keep
you're
using
calling
the
your
word
leader
fake
weak.
news. Are you the new Donald
Do you
Trump?
feel emboldened by Donald Trump? Do you feel?
No. You know, I have my own ideas, and I'm not working for the U.S. government. You know, what I'm telling you, it's the best idea for this country, and the best ideas for this country is to abolish that system. And I'm pleased that the President Trump is asking for that, because the Canadian politicians, they don't have the courage to do that.
But are there any other aspects of his leadership that you're looking to?
I'm not looking to any leadership. You know, you cannot. I'm Maxime Bernier, and if you look at my platform and what I did the last 12 years, you'll see that I'm very different than other politicians. And that's why I need to have a new platform to do politics differently. So the last question, please.
You were a Conservative MP for 12 years, so
Yeah.
that one conversation with Andrew Scheer has made you bolt the party.
Not only the one conversation. What I'm saying is, the last year, I was trying to have the party adopt some of the policies, and you see what happened. So, and after the discussion, and so I said, you know, it's too.
Lose under Andrew Scheer. Are you predicting your party will lose the election under Andrew Scheer?
What I'm predicting, I hope so, that we'll have a lot of Canadians, and that new party will win the next election. So, merci.